The desperate choice, the fluorescent lights of Metropolitan General Hospital, cast harsh shadows across Sophia Blake's face as she stared at the bill in her trembling hands. $50,000. The numbers seemed to dance mockingly before her tired eyes, each digit a nail in her brother's coffin. Miss Blake? The surgeon's voice cut through her spiral of despair. We need your decision within the next 24 hours. Your brother's condition is stable for now, but without the surgery, ... Double quotes Dr. Martinez didn't need to finish. Sophia had heard it all before. Oliver's internal bleeding would resume, and this time, there would be no saving him. Her 22-year-old brother, brilliant computer science student, future software engineer, reduced to a ticking time bomb because she couldn't afford to save him. I understand, she whispered, though understanding and accepting were two entirely different things. The hospital corridor felt like a tomb as she walked back toward Oliver's room. Her phone buzzed insistently. Her boss, Vincent Sterling, no doubt wondering where his perfectly organized assistant had disappeared too. For 3 years, she had been his executive secretary at Sterling Innovations, one of the city's fastest-growing tech companies. Vincent was demanding, perfectionist, and absolutely ruthless in business. He was also devastatingly handsome, which made working for him both a pleasure and a torture she endured daily. She had developed feelings for him long ago. Watching him work late into the night, catching glimpses of vulnerability beneath his cold exterior. But Vincent Sterling lived in a different world, one of penthouse apartments and society galas. While she struggled to pay rent on her studio apartment, the next morning, Sophia arrived at Sterling Innovations at 5:30 a.m., her eyes red from lack of sleep. She had spent the night calling everyone she knew, begging for help. No one had $50,000 to spare. Her savings account held barely $3,000. The bank had rejected her loan application. Her credit cards were maxed out from their father's funeral expenses 6 months ago. Vincent's corner office occupied the entire top floor of the gleaming 40-story building. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a breathtaking view of the city skyline. She found him already at his massive mahogany desk, reviewing contracts in his perfectly tailored charcoal suit. You look terrible, he said without looking up. Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure to hear your morning observations. That made him glance up. Vincent had sharp green eyes that seemed to see everything, and right now, they were studying her with unusual interest. His dark hair was perfectly styled, and his jaw was clean-shaven. Even exhausted and worried, she couldn't help but notice how attractive he was. What's wrong? His voice was softer than usual. Sophia was surprised by the question. In 3 years, Vincent had never asked about her personal life. She was efficient, reliable, and invisible. That was how he liked his employees. Nothing that concerns Sterling Innovations, sir. Sophia. The way he said her name made her stomach flutter. Sit down. She perched on the edge of the leather chair across from his desk, clutching her tablet like a shield. Vincent leaned back in his chair, his intense gaze never leaving her face. I've known you for 3 years. You've never looked like this. What happened? The kindness in his voice was her undoing. Before she could stop herself, the words came, pouring out. Oliver's accident, the surgery, the impossible bill, her desperation. She told him everything while tears streamed down her cheeks. Vincent listened without interruption, his expression unreadable. When she finished, he was quiet for a long moment. $50,000, he said finally. I know it's a fortune. I've tried everything. I even considered asking you for an advance on my salary, but even if you gave me 10 years' worth, it wouldn't be enough. Vincent stood and walked to the window, his hands clasped behind his back. The morning sun cast a golden glow across his broad shoulders. What would you do for that money? He asked quietly. Anything. The word escaped before she could think. I would do anything to save my brother. He turned around and there was something different in his eyes, something calculating and intense. Anything. A chill ran down her spine. What are you asking? Vincent walked back to his desk and opened a drawer. He pulled out a thick folder and placed it in front of her. My mother has given me an ultimatum. I have to be married within 30 days, or she'll use her influence with the board to remove me as CEO. The company would go to my cousin Richard, who would destroy everything I've built. Sophia stared at the folder. I don't understand. Open. With shaking fingers, she opened the folder. Inside was a marriage contract, already prepared by lawyers. Her name was typed in the bride section. You want to marry me? Her voice was barely a whisper. I want to hire you to be my wife. Temporary wife. 6 months should be enough to secure my position and satisfy my mother. In return, I'll pay for your brother's surgery and give you an additional $100,000. The room seemed to spin around her. Vincent Sterling, the man she had secretly loved for years, was proposing a business arrangement. Marriage is a transaction, he continued. Why not treat it as such? Why me? You're intelligent, professional, and you understand the business world. You know how to handle pressure and maintain discretion. Most importantly, you need the money badly enough to agree to this. His bluntness stung, but she couldn't deny the truth of it. What would be expected of me? We would move into my penthouse. We would attend social functions together, convince my mother and the board that we're genuinely in love. In public, you would be the perfect wife. In private, we would maintain appropriate boundaries. After 6 months, a quiet divorce. You would receive a settlement that would ensure you never have to work again if you choose not to. Sophia's head was spinning. It was like something out of a romance novel, except there was no romance. Vincent was offering her a business deal, nothing more. I need to think about this. Your brother's surgery is scheduled for tomorrow morning. The decision needs to be made today. The cruelty of his timing wasn't lost on her, but she knew. He was right. Oliver couldn't wait. She looked at the contract again. 6 months of pretending to be married to the man she loved, knowing it was all fake. It would be torture, but Oliver would live. There's a pen in the top drawer, Vincent said softly. She opened the drawer and pulled out an expensive fountain pen. Her hand shook as she signed her name on the line marked bride. Vincent signed. As well, his signature bold and confident. When he looked up at her, there was something unreadable in his expression. Congratulations, Miss Blake. You're about to become Mrs. Sterling. The weight of what she had just done crashed over her. She had agreed to marry Vincent Sterling, the man she loved, knowing he could never love her back. She had 6 months to guard her heart while playing the role of his devoted wife. When do we start? She asked. Tonight? I'm taking you to dinner to discuss the details. We need to create a believable story about how our relationship developed. And tomorrow, after your brother's surgery, we'll announce our engagement. Fast? I don't believe in wasting time. As she looked up into his intense green eyes, Sophia knew that nothing about this arrangement would be fine. She was about to enter a dangerous game where the stakes were her heart. And Vincent Sterling held all the cards. The marriage contract, the intercom buzzed, breaking the spell between them. Mr. Sterling, your mother is here to see you? Vincent stepped back, his professional mask sliding back into place. Send her in. Helena Sterling swept into the office, like a force of nature. She was an elegant woman in her 50s, with perfectly styled silver hair, and designer clothes that cost more than Sophia made in a year. Her cold blue eyes immediately focused on Sophia with obvious displeasure. Vincent, darling, I need to speak with you privately. Actually, Mother, this concerns Sophia as well. Vincent's voice was calm, but there was steel underneath. We have an announcement to make. Helena's eyebrows rose dangerously. Vincent moved to stand behind Sophia's chair, his hands resting on her shoulders. The touch sent electricity through her entire body. Sophia and I are engaged. The silence that followed was deafening. Helena's face went through several expressions. Before settling on icy disapproval, your secretary, Vincent?
Surely you're joking.
I've never been more serious about anything in my life. Sophia could feel the tension in Vincent's hands where they touched her shoulders. This was the first test of their charade, and Helena Sterling was not an easy woman to fool. How long has this been going on? Helena's voice could have frozen. Water. We've been seeing each other quietly for several months, Vincent said smoothly. We wanted to be sure before making it public. I see. Helena's gaze fixed on Sophia like a laser. And you, dear, how do you feel about marrying into the Sterling family? This was her moment. Sophia took a deep breath and smiled up at Vincent. With what she hoped looked like genuine love, I feel like the luckiest woman in the world.